Hey there folks, so a little bit of a update. First off, it is Saturday, September 26th, 2020, and Paul and I previously had stopped on Concession 4. Did a nice shot of the boardwalk here. Anyways, had stopped on Concession 4, which is the eastern border or road to where the Bighead Overnight Rest Area is. And the initial plan earlier this month, was to spend a second night at Bighead, do another little bit of a hike, and then go home on a Sunday. But as we were watching the weather, it was going to start turning really badly starting at about 8 o'clock at night. So even though an overnight rainstorm wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, because we would be in the tents, the weather predicted a thunderstorm in the morning and all through the morning. So rather than put up with that, we opted to stop where we were, and we went to Markdale, had a really nice dinner, and that concluded our outing on September 5th and 6th weekend. So yesterday let's stop for a second. We basically met at Bighead. The original plan was I was going to park on the north side of Bighead Campground, walk in, which I did, and Paul was going to park on Concession 4, so basically where we had left off last time, and he hiked into the campground. Now unfortunately some stuff blew up at work, so I wasn't able to leave my area until a little after 5. So by the time I got to where I could park to the north of Bighead Overnight Rest Area, I had very little daylight left. So I was able to get to the campsite and make camp, but it was essentially dark by that time. So yeah, spent the night at Bighead, or at least near Bighead. There was a fairly large tent being occupying the overnight rest area, so we found another spot just around the corner, and we then got up this morning and took our cars to the end of Side Road 22, which is basically the southeast corner of Bayview, Escarpment, Conservation Area, I think it is. And it's also 1.5 kilometers west of Roebuck Family Campground, which is where we're going to be spending the night tonight. So we got to the end of Side Road 22, parked the car, and discovered I had a flat tire in the back. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. But if all goes well, Paul and I are going to do about 26 kilometers today to the end of Side Road 22, and spend the night at Roebuck. And Sunday we'll do roughly 13 or 14 kilometers, and we'll park on Irish Block Road give or take. And what will happen after that is Paul's going to follow me to Wyerton. I have next week off on vacation, and I'm going to try and wrap up the Sydenham Brewers Trail Club this week, provided I get the flat tire fixed. So, yeah, that's about it for now. One small update, ended up buying a Thermarest Neolite sleeping pad, and used that for the first time last night, and did it ever make a huge difference? It was solid, it gave a lot of support, I didn't bottom out, and it was quite comfortable. And here comes Paul. So with that, we'll check in a little bit later, look for pictures. Of course, if you have questions about gear or what we've done, where we're going, how we're doing it, feel free to comment below, and we'll hope to see you out there. See ya. So we are now in the Bognor Marsh. You can see how all the treetops have changed color. And a very recluse species, the chief building official. So we've stopped for lunch at the Bognor Marsh Pavilion, and this is our second time seeing it. We came through once. Special one, that one.
Thought I'd do that at the beginning. Not too far.
Thanks for that. That's going in, just let you know. Anyway, so we went into the marsh itself and did one circle around because we couldn't find the main trail. And then we found the main trail and took our chances because the trail itself through the marsh is closed for logging. But of course, it's Saturday. There's no audio indications that there's any kind of equipment or sawing going on. So we thought we could make our way through it and also avoid a longer detour with some roadside walking. So we went through the marsh, made it right across the southern edge of the marsh, and as soon as or shortly after we turned northward to start doing that arc up above, we came across a small bridge that was partially submerged underwater, and after the bridge it was certainly submerged underwater. So we took a look around and didn't really see a way through, so we ended up turning back, realized that it was a beaver dam that had gone up, so of course some jokes about that's the logging that was going on, and we went across the southern edge of the marsh on the trail, got to the road, came back, went through the southern entrance of the marsh, and had lunch. So now we're going to try going directly north through the marsh. Again, it's still showing that it's closed for logging, but we should be able to pick up the trail at the north end of the trail itself, or of the marsh, and continue on to our endpoint for the day. So we have a few extra kilometers under our belts today, but the weather is holding. It's a little overcast, but it's not too hot, so it's not too bad. And that's about it. See you next time. There's no signage here, but it would appear this is the remains of the Wilson homestead and is at the base of the side trail that we just came down from the ridge. Let's see what else we can find. I can maneuver this with a camera. Just to get an idea what it looks like. That's so cool. I don't think we go this way, but I'm just gonna have a peek. Wow. So I thought I'd record this because it should be interesting. Oh yeah. And Paul has already gone ahead. And wow, is it ever cold in here. Paul, you already through? Wow. Okay. Watch your head. Well, at least I have the sides to, just to give you an idea of spacing. And at least I can prop myself up on the sides. Oh, there we go.
Nice and cool down here, eh?
Oh. Yeah. Not enough room for a tent, though.
No.
And I should get bonus marks for doing this one-handed as I'm taping. Filming, I should say. Oh, I almost lost it. All right. Bye, Paul.
Go, Michael.
Morning, folks. So it's Sunday, the 27th of September, 2020. And Paul and I spent the night at Roebuck family campground just outside of Bayview Escarpment. Provincial Nature Reserve is what it's titled as on the Bruce Trail app. And we got onto the trail by 8 o'clock after moving the cars around. Should be about 17 kilometers to where we left my car, just on Irish Block Road. So we're basically going to go through Bayview Escarpment Nature Reserve. The trail follows a couple of roads and then goes through what looks like a farmer's field or something and ends at Irish Block Road, at least for today's adventure. So we're about maybe a kilometer, a little bit more than a kilometer into the Provincial Nature Reserve. And we had a little bit of a technical walk across some rocks and mini crevices and tree roots and whatnot. So we just came across a really beautiful crevice, and I'm going to switch the camera around and show you that right now. Sorry folks, just another little example of what I've been seeing here. Not sure if you can see, but it looks like a series of rocks in a pillar supporting that other piece. Unreal. And then you can see down there. And just more of a crevice. So just came across these little plants, and we had one that had a white berry. That one's got a black one. Very cool. Folks, Mike here. Just a little bit of an update. It's just before 7 on Sunday, the 27th of September, and Paul and I hiked from basically the end of Side Road 22 up the Tom Thompson trail to meet up with the Bruce Trail and in through the Bayview Escarpment Provincial Nature Reserve. Trying to get that right. Followed the main trail all the way through, and left off at Irish Block Road, where we left my car. So that was a 19-kilometer day, and we called it quits there. I did some humming and hawing as to what to do, because I have all next week off, and the weather is kind of not really being too consistent. Sometimes there's reports of severe rainstorms or light showers or whatever. So from the Irish Block Road to the KOA campground, which is where I am now, is 14 kilometers. And from the KOA campground to the Sydenham Peninsula border is 95 kilometers. So I'm going to look at this next coming week as one way or another, I'm going to get to that border. And with the exception of that 14 kilometers that we didn't hike from Irish Block Road to KOA, we'll do that at another time. And Paul even said that he would be more than happy to do that with me on another day as a day hike. So we drove up to Wyerton, dropped off my car, had something to eat, and he dropped me off at the KOA campground in Owen Sound. It's kind of halfway between what I would call the city limits of Owen Sound and Billy Bishop Airport, just to give you an idea. And obviously it's on the app and on Google Maps if you want to know where that is. So with that, I am going to just take stock of what I have in the tent, just make sure I have everything that I need. Always a little nerve-wracking when I'm doing one of these multi-day hikes on my own, just to, okay, do I have everything, or do I have everything where it needs to be? Do I take 2 or 3 bottles of water? Take a look at the map, take a look at possible water sources. So I'll be doing all of that tonight. And I think I might indulge in a shower. Yes, I think I will. Anyhow, without any further ado, you guys have yourselves a good evening, regardless of what time you're watching this video at. And as always, if you have questions or comments about my choice of gear or the ongoing selection and purchasing of gear that I've gone through to get to where I am now, the weather that I've experienced or the type of terrain that I've experienced, I tried to get some video and some pictures of the terrain, which is kind of why I started these videos in the first place, just because I didn't really see anything out there on YouTube. Just comment, question below in the comment section, like, subscribe, you know the drill, and we'll see you next time.